Testing 1, 2, 3. Hey, what's up? So tonight, I am working on a new song, newer than last week. I finished up last week, or not last week, but like last 2 days ago. Yeah, I finished up a song 2 days ago. I might revisit it a little later. There's just a few things I need to change. But yeah, welcome if you guys are watching. Thanks for joining me. I think we'll be streaming again till about around midnight. But yeah. So like basically right now I'm just sort of working on like fixing some levels and stuff like that. And then there's some reverb issues that I can hear. And then I'm just gonna work on fixing some progression things and adding to it. trying to think about a bass line. That is just a fun patch to play with. I design all my patches, so that's something to play with. It's fun. They're really fun. I like this one. I think this one is my favorite patch right here. Just a nice pad. I'm a pad and ARP kind of guy. I like this ARP. See, the issue is here is like I'm on a drum machine, so I can only play so many notes at a time. Otherwise, they start canceling each other out, which is really annoying. So I have to find inventive ways, like changing the oscillator, trying to make a chord progression or a chord or a triad. Just with the oscillators. Not that I can, though. See, that's a song in itself. Just kidding. Back on track here. I think there's like certain areas that just need to be changed. And there's no I haven't actually put in I don't know if you're on Instagram or whatever or if you're on Twitch, but I haven't actually put up any risers and I haven't even really done any drum breaks. Or any builds. Just something that I usually work on last. Yeah. It's funny, like these first few are just kind of like challenging tracks because it's been a while since I've like even really heard them. I was listening to some of my like newer tracks, and my newer tracks sound completely different. A different tonality. They're just more in your face electronic. I don't know. These are kind of like laid back tracks, and I feel like if you look at where they are in the mix, like I feel like that's I think it's appropriate for where it's at in the mix because I feel like there's not I don't always want to have like a hard pumping. It's just not my style. You know what I mean? Like I like to give the listeners a little pause and like the arps and like heavy whatever. You know, it's like this is kind of like a fun track, and it's just like different sounds. I mean, I could take it more like, you know, I could take it as a harder style track, but I haven't. And maybe I'll do another track with the same sounds. Who knows? You know, like you never know. I've reused a bunch of sounds before in the past. But like this whole entire, all these 16 tracks that I'm working on right now, they're sort of just like, they're all different. They all have different sound design. Every single one of them has different drums. It's got different synthesizer patches. I haven't done any of the samples yet on any of the tracks. But yeah, for the most part, it's, you know, I'm wrapping up these tracks. chord thing. I'm not really liking the chord thing. On the it is chord, but it sounds better on its own, doesn't it? I don't know. I'm not getting anything from the peanut gallery. Let's try it and see what happens. I'm just gonna copy it and then. Just not feeling the chord progression thing. All right, let's hear what it sounds like on its own. All right, overall, I like that a little bit more. Just like this synth sound. Just wasn't sounding right to me. I'm gonna play the song again and see what I did and if it changed much. Just sort of noticed that I like the horn sound, but it really needs some work a little more. Kind of like that riff. I'll see how I can implement it a little more. Yeah. Challenges. Eventually, Instagram's just gonna stop streaming. That's just the way Instagram is. So if it just drops, it just drops. I think it only lasts like an hour. I don't know, maybe 3 hours, maybe 2 hours. I think it's been about an hour. I think I should probably end it soon on Instagram. But if you want to watch, I mean, I got better cameras on Twitch. Better cameras, better mic, better sound. See, this is what happens with frustration. You just delete the whole entire thing, and you're like, oh, I'll just start over. When creativity comes from a point when creativity comes from a point of frustration. At least it sounds a little more groovy or whatever. Yes. It's been a long day. Kind of sleepy. If you're watching, and I'm sure you are, thanks for watching. Really appreciate it. I think I've said this before. I don't always think that music production's all that interesting to watch, but you know what? Some people really dig it. I guess it's just about how you go about it. Yeah. Drum machines are completely different than like a DAW. But there's still like that musicality that you have to adhere to. I've been listening to this track for a while, so I'm just kind of trying to break up the routine. If you're watching and you want to do me a favor, my socials are right below. Looking to grow my social media. Trying to get about 3,000 followers on every platform right now. Not even close right now. But every like counts. Fortunately, unfortunately, it's like people only hear about me unless there's other people who are watching, So but I figure at some point everything's gonna pick up. I just started. This is my second stream in 2 years. Yeah, I mean, like, so the thing is like, I just, I was working a job, web design, for a long time. And I just didn't think it was all that interesting, and I dropped everything to sort of start a music career. And yeah, I've been lucky. Went to music school, did the whole music school thing. And yeah, I did create a whole album in Ableton. And I didn't really like it. I just thought, well, there's nothing to this. I'm like, I was DJing a little, and DJing just wasn't all that interesting to me. So I felt like, oh, hey, what am I going to do, And then I found Electrons, and I've been working with these Electrons for a little while now. And I think, like, the main attraction to Electrons was that I wasn't in a DAW. I wasn't looking at a monitor all day, because I had already experienced looking at a DAW, or not a DAW, but a computer monitor all day. When I work in graphic design and do stuff like that, but I wanted to separate my music from the computer as much as I could. So Electrons, sort of, they're like their own computers, but they're like not really tied into the computer at all. I think the only time I ever really use computers is mixing and mastering. Not even mixing. I mix in the machines or on the machines. But mastering is just one of those things that has to be done through the I mean, depending on what you're going for. 'Cause the thing is, and what I've been thinking about is like, yeah, I can master my tracks. But here's the thing. As soon as I go to play them out live, people are going to be like, it sounds completely different. And yeah, of course it is. Because I'm approaching more of a live instrumental sort of a mentality of how I'm going about my music production. There's a lot of people who are really into electrons. I'm not the only one. But I have my reasons, and I really like it. They're just great machines. If you want to learn electron stuff, I highly suggest learning in a DAW first, like Logic or Ableton or was it Pro Tools? It'll just give you a better understanding of how things interact with others. So for example, like my drum machine right here is tied into my synthesizer that I was just playing. And everything's going through the Octatrack. Now, I have questions. I have questioned whether that's even like a good thing, because the Octatrack is sort of like the way I have it set it up. It's all mono. It's not. There's not a huge stereo field, and I have to actually use something to widen the spectrum spatializer, just to repair the width of a track. It's kind of annoying. I don't know if it's really the best way to do something like this. I've actually thought of like other ways to like fix this issue, but for now it's just my solution, because I want to use the there's actually a side chain in the drum machine, but when I plug into the drum machine, as soon as I pull it into the drum machine and export it into the Octatrack, it no longer has that left and right field. It's just a mono field. And yeah. It's just because the input for the drum machine is not left and right. I mean it is, but it isn't. Because you have to use an insert, and it doesn't really retain the panning. I don't know. It's something I need to work on, and something I need to fix at some point when I care enough. It's like one of those things. It's not really a huge issue because most electronic music is actually mono. Also, I'm using the spatializer to fix some of those things. So I'm just like squishing it, and then I'm unsquishing it. So it's just like, it's not really. It's probably not the best way to do things, but and then I'm also using some reverb on the end. But my Octatrack is basically acting as my master chain, and everything else is in box. So, and then I wanted to have everything so that it was like left and right channel, sort of like a DJ. So that's what I've been doing with my Octatrack, is just separating the channels. I got a right side and a left side. On the right side, I have my Digitakt. I actually have really not used my Digitakt that much. Yeah, you can kind of tell that I haven't used it at all.
You get the idea.
Just playing around a little. Trying to get into that creative zone. I'm really sleepy for some odd reason tonight. I could really go for some like sparkling water right about now. Really need to buy some. Stuff's really good. The store's closing soon though, so I'm not going to be able to get any. Can't quench my thirst for sparkling water. The stuff's good though. Mountain Springs, what is it? I think it's Mountain Springs. Today is sponsored by Mountain Springs. Just joking. How long have I been streaming? Honestly, like, music production is just continually trying to find that tune in your head. And that's what I try to do. And then, like, sometimes, because I've already written a bunch of music already, at this point, I'm just trying to get everything to sound similar. If you're watching, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. You know, just spending some time with me. And if you want to see how I do music production, this is how I do music production. I'm a big fan of Elektron. Not that I don't like CDJs. I do like CDJs. I just prefer not to use them. I just think that CDJs are a cop-out. They're kind of just like, it's like, oh, let's play other people's music. But, I mean, I get it. I was DJing for a little while, and I thought it was interesting and it was fun. But it just wasn't fulfilling. Then I built my own rig, 'cause I was like, well, what's going to keep me interested in music production? And that's basically what I came up with, is just buying a bunch of electrons and making sure that the electrons are set up in the way that I could still DJ them, play live music, and create songs with them. Right now I'm creating 16 songs. Yeah. I'm also growing my fan base. So that's kind of like a big thing right now. As a musician, you have to like grow your fan base, and you know, it's just one of those responsibilities where you love to push that off on somebody else, but you know, when you're small, it's kind of like one of those things where you just need, you have to do it yourself, you know. So that's what I've been doing. Right now, I'm trying to produce 16 songs. Trying to finish up these 16 songs, and once I'm done with these 16 songs, I will be approaching record labels, and I'm going towards, going towards some record labels. Hopefully within the next month or two. And then hopefully, you know, I can perform more. You know, that's sort of like the bigger thing, is like I want to perform, but the thing is like, if you want to perform, you have to have more than a few hundred followers. You know, like I could go buy fake followers, and that's, you know, that's, I get that people do that. but I didn't, and I don't choose to do such. I just think that there's enough people in the world that like what I'm doing that all I need to do is continue doing what I'm doing. Wrap up some songs, um, get out there, play some shows, and yeah, I mean, I'm excited to play shows. It's something I've always dreamed of. I grew up with like electronic music in like 2010 and stuff like that, and my first real experience with like raves was in like 2010, 2012. And ever since then, like I've always wanted to be part of the culture and just, I just wanted to build music and make music. Um, yeah, so it's always been like some sort of music has always been some sort of passion for, driving my life. It's interesting how things have kind of changed. Like a lot of people are doing like dubstep and stuff like that, or like people are really into like hard stuff. Me, I prefer like techno stuff and like melodic stuff, and I don't know. I'd like to get some vocalists in on some of the things that I'm doing. I've never actually worked with any vocalists, but it is something that I plan on doing. I'd like to get some vocalists in on my first album, but once again, running into issues with being a new artist. You always have those. Well, what do you have? What have you done? And it's just like one of those things where you're just like, I've only been doing music for 3 years. I need my 10,000 hours. Like I was a graphic designer for 10 years. Most of the people that I meet that are in music or that are music in music have been doing music for like 10 years. I don't know if that's a good thing. I see a lot of bad sort of habits with people who have been doing music for 10 years and haven't really made anything of themselves. I prefer being where I'm at. I mean, I feel like 3 years is a good start. It's right about when like I went to music school and stuff like that, but like 3 years is sort of like, oh, after that, you sort of start need to like growing a little bit more, being more refined into like what you're trying to do. And I think I found like what I really like. I really enjoy working with drum machines, and I love I think it's a button. I think it's buttons and knobs. I love buttons and knobs. I just feel like they're just I don't know, there's something about drumming your own beat. There's something about like just playing chords in front of people. Well then you're like, hey, why don't you just get a synthesizer and connect it with your CDJs? And that's a great idea. But I didn't really think that was fulfilling enough. And, I was just like, oh, I'm going to do my own thing. Whether or not it's something that's like something that people like or not, like that's on them, like I'm not really doing a lot of this. I'm not even doing this video for anybody else but myself. Like for me, like I know that there's people out there that would like to see where my progress is and where I'm going and how I'm progressing. But for me, it's like even I enjoy that stuff, like I'm a fan of my own work, and I want to see where I'm going with the stuff that I'm doing. And I know that like I only just began. I only just started. And I'm excited about like I know I'm like really monotone and kind of sleepy right now. But I'm excited for the future. I really feel like if I can just handle some of the things, I'm still learning some things. I'm still working on refining some things. But like everybody does, if you're in the music industry, you're always changing, adapting, growing. And I think that's important to remember is just like, 90% of the battle is actually won in your head. It's just, it's not giving up. It's continually like practicing every day. I work on music every day. And I only started working on music every day probably like 2 years ago. Because I acknowledged that like if I work on music every day, I'll get better, like that's just one of those things, I study, I try to study on a daily basis. If it's not like music production, then it's like marketing and like just bunch of stuff like managing and all this other stuff. But yeah, I mean, being an independent artist, for anybody, like I have a lot of respect for anybody who can just, you know, pull themselves together and actually put something that's palatable in front of an audience. And if they can play live, wow. I mean, like, just wow. There's just so many more challenges playing live in front of somebody than recording something in a studio. And I am in a studio. I mean, let's not even, let's not even pad things down. Like, I am in a studio, it's just like, but I have the capability to play live shows, so it's just a matter of time. Cleaning, polishing, and making sure that my tracks are complete. It's funny also, like, when you start music production, like, you really want to, like, be patient with yourself. I think patience is, like, the hardest thing to learn because you want things done right away. And setting times, you have to be very forgiving with your schedule. Because you might think that, like, a song will be done really fast. But, like, the thing is like, it's never like that. It's always like, oh, I need to add this. Oh, I need to change this. Oh, I need to do this. And yeah, you need to do those things. But you also need to have patience to just be like, yo, I might not hit that goal. It might not be done. That's the thing is, like, even these tracks that I've been working on, it shouldn't take you more than like 2 to 3 months. Like, I haven't been working on it that long. I think this is like my second month. Yeah. It's my third month actually, I think. I'm just wrapping up everything on all these songs. So it's just like 16 tracks is a lot to manage at all at one time. There's a lot of people who just invest in one song or like a few songs. But the way I'm doing my production and the way I am right now, it just makes more sense for me to focus on 16 songs at a time. I don't think more than like 16 songs is even capable. Like, I feel like I think anything more than like I did 8 tracks back last year, and I wrapped up all 8 tracks, but I just wasn't happy with them because I was like, well, I'll never play these. I was like, what am I going to do with them? Maybe eventually I'll release them. I don't know. I finished them up and I was just like, yeah, I don't really like these tracks. I was like, I just don't feel anything from them. I don't really. I didn't think anything really all that great of them. I mean, I think some of them were really halfway decent, but like I didn't feel like that they weren't anything that I want to play in front of people. They were like they're just like tracks that kind of inspired me, but not really anything that I felt like would inspire other people. And eventually I'll release them, and eventually I'll show the world my songs. But the other thing is the way that I wanted to play music really changed my idea of the songs that I was making. Like I was making a lot of dance tracks, and I was just like, yeah, but how am I gonna play these tracks, you know? Like they're not really they're not really tied into the way that I'm doing music nowadays. You know, I was like, I really want to get into drum machines. I love drum machines. And I love what they can do, and how every time I play it's different, you know? And it's not possible to do those things with CDJs or vinyl. Not that they don't have their own they have their own learning curve, you know. There's a lot of things that you can do as a DJ. There are a lot of fun things. But I feel like I took the long route doing drum machines, 'cause it took me a long time to figure out, oh hey, I would prefer to work with drum machines than work in a DAW. But yeah, the overall goal is just to start getting all these songs done, sending them to labels, and then getting them to a point where it's just like, hey, let's go play a show, you know. Will I ever be famous? I don't know. It doesn't look that way right now, but you know what? I just started. So it's really not that imperative to be famous. It's just I think the only reason I really do this is because I'd rather be doing this than doing anything else. And I don't know how to describe that to anybody. And I have the capability to do it right now. And the scariest thing is like, I think the scariest thing is getting older and thinking that age has anything to do with why I'm doing any of this stuff. 'Cause age doesn't really have anything to do with what I'm doing right now. It's just a fear. And like conquering your fears is just, it's a process of elimination, you know? Like the fears that you have now are not going to be the same fears that you have in tomorrow, you know, like, or the next day or anything like that. I don't know. I've been talking right now, and it's really just because I needed a break from music, and I just needed to like. I like to take breaks occasionally. It's been like an hour and a half. Approaching 2 hours. But yeah, I'm gonna get back into it. I haven't really changed anything on this track. It's kind of weird. I did change some things, but then it was just like the chord progressions were weird. They just weren't sounding the way I wanted them to sound. I hope I don't use the same chord progression all the time. I should really print some of my tracks and just like listen to the other ones. That's the only thing about working with 16 songs, is that like sometimes I find myself doing the same thing in certain areas, like with my drums and stuff like that. But for the most part, yeah. But anyways, if you're watching, you know, if you're kind enough if you just, if you feel the urge, like me on Instagram or like me on Facebook. I really need Facebook likes, even SoundCloud or YouTube. It's just, I know it's like begging for those things, but it's just like, I'm I'm trying to build a career here. Uh, money's okay, but like I prefer like I just prefer like I can't play shows unless I have so many follows and if I have so many likes. You know what I mean? Like it's just for some odd reason our society has sort of become like this thing where it's like you need so many likes to have any sort of credibility. Isn't that weird? It reminds me of the Dark Mirror. I don't know if you guys have seen the Dark Mirror episode where everybody is treated differently based on your score, your like score, or your social status, or some crap like that. I don't know. And it's funny. It's kind of like that, but like you don't even really think about it until you have to depend on other people, uh, to build your dreams for you. Like I do depend on other people, but like I don't depend on them to like refine my music or anything like that. So it's just, you know, I mean, I'm content doing what I'm doing, but like even this is a finite thing. Eventually, you have to make money doing the things that you want to do for a living, and I guess I'm reaching that point where it's like as soon as I'm done with these 16 songs, like it's weird. It's like selling out, sort of, but you're not really selling out. You're kind of like you're buying in to a belief, you know. And I've been talking to people. It's kind of funny. Like I have a lot of interesting mentors in my life right now, and they talk about like asking is not asking is giving somebody an opportunity, and when you ask for something, you're actually giving them a gift. You're not begging. You're informing them. And it's funny because like I think a lot of us have issues with like asking for money or like asking for like anything. Money is the big one for me. Like even with like employers and stuff like that, like asking for money is just it's always been a cringeworthy thing. You're just like, ugh. But like the thing is like you're entitled to the money that if you work for a position, if you work for somebody, you're trading your hours for money, and it's like if they owe you money, it's like it's just like one of those things. Um you're entitled to it, and I feel like for some odd reason some of us have this issue of like we don't feel like we're entitled because we don't money doesn't necessarily mean anything to us, or money doesn't really connect with us in some sort of way. I mean, everybody wants money. We, we live in a monetary society, Madonna. It's just, but I mean, at the same time, I think a lot of us fear asking for money, um, or even like likes or anything like that. But I think being comfortable and understanding that there are other people in this world that are meant to be um your friends, or like just meant to be that you're supposed to live life with those people, like the world is not you're not like alone. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. And like there is a support system, there is a safety net for anything that you choose to do, but it's just believing in that safety net and believing in the people around you. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm really on this like I'm really on this weird trip right now as far as like fixing myself and like fixing my mental state and just trying to understand and love life a little bit more. I think we all have things that we've had to overcome in our life. But yeah, I think that we can all persevere as long as, we just don't give up. And that's really what music production is just don't give up. 'Cause giving up is the worst thing. Like I said, 90% of the battle is in your head. And then the other 10% is just music production, like music theory and making things sound cool, making it dope. But yeah, I don't know. I'm going to get back to work here. But yeah, I like talking occasionally. Not that anybody listens. And you know what? I don't think it matters. There could be one person listening to me. There could be 20 people listening to me. There could be 10 million people, billion people listening to me. And you know what? It'd be all the same to me. Because, like I said before, I'm doing this for me. I'm not really doing this for anybody else. On that note, I'm going to get started again. All right, I'm gonna wrap up. It was great. Um, Thanks for hanging out with me. This is my second stream in a while. It's been consistent. I'll probably be here tomorrow. I won't be here on Sunday. Just have commitments on Sunday. And yeah, I'll be here on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I'm busy. Yeah. I hope you guys enjoy this. If you're interested in finding more about my artist or who I am, and just check out my Instagram. I'm fairly active on Instagram. But I will be more active on YouTube, and I should be more active on Facebook in the coming weeks. You can also check out my website. It's IONMATIKA.com. And I have t-shirts and merch and stuff like that. You can check it out if you like it, if you feel inclined. Yeah, I feel pretty good about today. It's just, I know the song's not done. Probably work on it a little bit longer while I'm not streaming. But it's been about 2.5 hours, and it's about as much as I can really handle right now as far as like streaming. My music design process and artistic creation is usually like more of a private thing for me. But so I'm trying to learn to be more sharing with my artistic creation process. But yeah, I mean 2.5 hours is pretty good. And if I'm going to do it every week, I just want to make sure that I'm hitting a goal that I can actually achieve. 2.5 hours is reasonable for me. I'll probably be up all night tonight anyways. It's just the way I am. My sleep schedule has just been crazy lately. It's just been super, super crazy lately. I know I had fun tonight, It's different hearing some of these tracks because I haven't really heard them in a while, and some of my newer tracks are just very they're a little bit more aggressive, and these songs are more, I'm trying to update them, trying to fix them a little bit. But yeah, overall I feel confident about what's been going on with and the progress of my songs. Like I said, I'm trying to release 16 songs, trying to get signed on a label. It's not going to be an overnight thing. It's not going to be like tomorrow, it's one of those things, and if you want to join me for my journey and just check in on my story occasionally, that's what I'm doing. I'll be doing these night streams for a little while. Well, hopefully until I'm done with the album. Once I'm done with the album, then I guess I'll just be doing performances. But I think I'll always be doing streaming from here on out because I see the potential opportunity, and it's, for me as an artist, it's nice occasionally to get that perspective of just like sharing things with others. But yeah, I'm IONMATIKA. Check out my website. Look at my socials. Try to get my Facebook. I still have to get my Facebook updated. And it's funny, like a lot of people have just deleted their Facebook, which is hilarious to me. But Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I'm starting to be more social on Twitter. Instagram is like my home base. I've just been doing a lot of things on Instagram. It allows me as an artist to be very flexible. Yeah, but the goal right now is try to get 3,000 followers on, and it sounds like so little, it's like you see these huge stars and they have like 150,000 or something like that followers, and right now I'm just scraping by with like less than 1,000, and I'm trying to get up to 3,000. I know it might not seem like much, or it might seem like a ton to other people, but like right now I'm just growing, and I'm trying to get to a point where I can start playing shows, 'cause I really really want to play shows. Like if you as an artist, like I feel like playing shows. I'm also a painter, so like painting and having artistic shows is just like it's a very it's one of those things. It's just like I'm proud of my work, and I just want to share it with others. And if and if it helps other people, then that's great. Like that's what I want. Like I think music is more about like relaxing and kicking back, and not necessarily thinking about work, and not necessarily thinking about the worries of the world. It's like we're the peace givers of this world, and I think we have to remember that. But on that note, I'm not going to jabber on anymore. I've been talking and talking and talking. It's funny. You get me started, and I will just talk your ear off. But it's probably 'cause I'm very opinionated. I feel like everybody is fairly opinionated. We're just we're people with opinions, and some of us have the wrong opinion. Just joking. Some of us have the right opinion. I don't know. That doesn't sound any better. In any case, have a good night. I think it's the weekend. I think it's Friday. It's only 11:30. My night's just getting started. Yeah, if you're on YouTube, thanks for watching. Even if you're just like skimming through things, you don't even know how appreciative I am of anybody who gives their time to just click that watch, and watch something that I've created. It's just it's really weird. It's weird and awesome, and it's just like I'm still growing, and I hope that you enjoy these videos, 'cause I'm doing it for you, but I'm doing it for myself. Like I think I want to look back on these videos 5 years from now and just be like, that's where I was. That's what I was doing. Look where I am now. Like I'd love to be one of those people who's just like playing Coachella, or just like playing like Bonnaroo, or like anywhere. Like that would be awesome. I really want to play Electric Forest, and I would love to play Movement Detroit, and then like I really really want to play Shambhala. I mean, I have like a list of like places that I would love to play, but I mean, honestly, it comes down to the fans. It's like all musicians are here for the fans. It's like we're here for you guys. Like we want you guys to be happy, and we want you to love our music and the way we love our music. It's like yeah. Like I said, I was trying to stop talking. It's easy to get me to start talking again, and then I'll just roll with the talking. And in any case, I'm gonna go. It's been a long day. Peace.